Hello everybody, I'm Mr. Undead, and today I'd like to tell you about my experience as an apprentice DM. Starting with player versus DM mentality. Now, because I'm not the most skilled DM, even in my friend group, I don't know the best ways to handle my players doing something that is so out of left field it comes out from the right. My mentality when it comes to DMing is like what I like to call passive-aggressive DMing, which is like when players are rolling too high, I typically give some pushback, not to make them lose, but to challenge them. This has helped me specifically when one player, not naming names, has rolled an absurd amount of crits, because instead of crits being something that should negate the encounter's challenge, I try to play into it, and, well, I'll get into that later. But when it comes to planning how sessions play out, this is one of my big weaknesses when it comes to D&D, because I suck at planning sessions. Don't get me wrong, I've been told numerous times that my sessions are fun. I've had players hyped for the next one, but I don't plan. The most I do is plan how the session will end, and that's it. There's no roadmap to get there. It's like asking a toddler for directions to your nearest Taco Bell. Handling the unplanned session gets a bit rough at times. Sometimes I just stuck there slack-jawed in awe at the fact that someone rolled 3 nat 20s when talking with a cartographer, or when I forget how much an item is priced. But when it comes down to the roleplay itself and the combat, I find it pretty fun, and so do my players. Now, when it comes to handling lucky players, it's difficult for a multitude of reasons. It feels like there's no challenge when all they get is nat 20s across the board, and it's hard to instill a challenge in that because I have to reward with nat 20s. But the way the challenge is still there is because the player is interested in furthering their character, so they are going to do things, even to their own detriment, that their character would certainly do. Now, unlucky players, on the other hand, they face nothing but challenge. When a player consistently rolls sub 10 over and over, it's nice to ease back a little and just let them talk things out, reasoning with people, or in combat, do things that won't require rolls, like, say, using a dagger to saw through a rope. Now, I won't lie, a lot of my encounters feel flat, at least to me. There feels like there's just no energy, because no matter what, it's a flat terrain throughout. And I tried adding platforms and shit to one of my bosses. It was an amazing fight. The reason I haven't really done it again, though, is because my other bosses function very differently from him. He was an elf necromancer, while typically the bosses that I use now are more melee focused. So it is a challenge to have a dynamic arena, but I am trying new things to see how it turns out. Now, you couldn't believe me if I said I'm writing a whole homebrew book with things that you could try adding to your campaign, because I'm not good at writing my own D&D stuff, but hell, some of you expert DMs might find it useful. As an apprentice DM, I have a lot to learn, but I think people really enjoy the way I dungeon my dragons. Closing this video off, this game is something that I deeply cherish and something that's helped me connect to people. So if you're new to Dungeons & Dragons, I want you to take the idea of challenging your players dynamically and considering using it in your own unique way. If you're more of an expert in D&D, thank you for giving someone with less experience like me, well, a bit of your time. Now, this is all I had, so I wish you all a greatly goodbye.